Hi, welcome to Impact Me Podcast. I'm so excited today because we are in such a treat. I am in a conversation with Daniel, and he is, if you don't know about Daniel, he is the person behind the brand Dream with Dan, which is very, very famous, been featured on Forbes and all sort of big medias. He's also an author of Money Game, a wealth manifestation guide, level up your money mindset step by step, and create abundant guides. And less about what he is doing, but really the personality, the behind the scene is he is that abundance accelerator, the abundant unblocker. And I'm so excited for us to have this conversation. We are going to chat all about wealth consciousness and how to create sustainable abundance in our own life. So Daniel, welcome to Impact Me Podcast. And can you just share a little bit about yourself more to the audiences who are listening?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Shout out to Lisa P for introducing us as well. Yeah. Obviously, we had a very brief check-in. I think it was last week or something like that. So excited to dive in and have the conversation, and also to have you on my podcast immediately after this. So looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm a speaker. I write books. I do the podcast and we do events. I write for Entrepreneur Magazine and whatever. But I mean, all of these things are really just the opportunity that I get to do things I really care about, which is empowering people to live life on their own terms. We all, every single one of us have a natural state of abundance that's available to us. But what happens is we get really caught up in, I need to do this, I need to do that. I've got this I'm supposed to be doing. I've got that I'm supposed to be doing. My mum said I've got to be that. My dad said I've got to be that. Society said I've got to be something different. And then, of course, all of the stories around that. All of the unworthiness, all of the limiting beliefs, all of that, it's just noise that I'm so happy that I get every day to support people in breaking through.
And it's so inspiring to just hearing you saying that it's just all the means and the channels to help me empowering people to live on their own terms, because that feels so broad. But being through my own journey of the last 3 years from the place of totally like, I don't know if I can even earn, $5,000 or $6,000 in my corporate job, to now like owning multiple six figure. I also literally felt that, because it's about breaking through the norms, and to live that extraordinary life, you have to stay off the ordinary path. That is what I usually say, and it's so aligned. And how long have you been doing this work, and what really motivated you to start it out being in this journey?
Well, I didn't really want to do this work, is a funny thing, Yeah, so this is going to sound really weird. I didn't wake up one morning, I was like, I want to be a coach, or I want to be like a personal development person. I wasn't that guy. You meet some people that, I was in my corporate job and I had this hole in my life and I wasn't that person. I was living my best life. Like, I was literally living my best life. I was enjoying life. I was in London. I was making, 6 figures a month in my then consulting business. I was flying first class out to see my friends in New York and Dubai. I had a tailor. I had more wristwatches than I needed. Like, life was good, right?
Yeah.
I was working like 10 hours a week, maybe, as well. Like I was.
You had that life already.
I had the life already. So it wasn't that I needed a gap to be filled. Aside from those things, great relationships with my families. I was working out, taking care of my body, doing my jiu-jitsu. Like I had great circle of friends. I wasn't lacking. But what became apparent through a course of events is that there was something more that I didn't even see was possible. So often, it's not even people that are in a dark place, but people that are in a good place that don't realize that there's more growth to come. Yeah. And we can fall into this situation whereby we actually don't look to more and we miss out on a blessing that's available. Now, the danger with me saying that is some people might stop being grateful for what's come in, right? Some people might be like you, like, hey, they're making their multiple six figures. It's like, oh, I'm making multiple six figures. I'm good. I'm in a good place. And they don't want to do anything more. Nothing wrong with that. But I was brought to see that there was something more that was available that I was actually being called to. Not that I was unsatisfied with what I was, not that I was ungrateful, because we don't have to be ungrateful or unsatisfied to desire more. We can actually be called into more through the natural law of growth. Yes. And that's what I really love to support people doing as well. But yeah, for me, I was living my best life. And through a series of events, I came to understand that actually there was something more that was available. And now I get to live that something more every day.
Wow. So you started out as an entrepreneur also at the beginning,
Yeah,
very
I've
first.
always been an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur.
So
I've
born
actually
with
never
that.
had a corporate job. I've never
Awesome.
had a corporate job. I worked in a cinema when I was a teenager. I actually made my first million when I was 19. I lost it, made some more money, lost that. And then I rebuilt my life again. And I worked in a call center for 6 months during that period of time. Other than that, I've always worked for myself. I've not, maybe a year, 13 months of my life has been spent working for other people. The rest of it's always been working for myself. And I'm 38 now.
Wow. I admire that fire and the boldness and the fierceness from people who start out working for themselves right away. It requires a lot of boldness to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Thank you.
So Daniel, I love how you talk about people. It's not just about you have to come out of black in order to talk about the money, but from good you have the opportunity to go to greater things as well. And that is what I've been feeling so much lately. Like a lot of my clients also coming to me, like they already have a great life. They have a good money source. They have good relationships. They have good, things. They don't have pains in them in their life. They don't have a lot of situation they have to run away from. And that is also a dangerous zone where they don't feel like I need to have something else. Like they don't have that motivation to go for something bigger. So what was that motivation for you to go for the greatness and for the impacts that you can retire at 20 or 25, I suppose, but like what would that be the motivation for you to still show up and do all of this work and be so consistent with it?
So I think we have to dig a little bit into the story of that transition period for me.
Yeah.
So I've been in personal development since about the age of 16. Okay, so I've been doing personal development, working myself for about 22 years. I credit my early wins with the personal development work that I did. However, I didn't have the experience that allowed me to sustain the benefits of that work that I'd done on myself. And so, things went awry. That happened a couple of times. What happened was in 2016, I was at a meditation retreat. And the funny thing is that this meditation retreat, 2018, this meditation retreat that I was at wasn't really the best meditation retreat I've been to for me. Yeah. Like, I was like, yeah, it's cool. But the day we were leaving, so the event's finished, with the day that we're leaving, that morning, I said, yeah, I'm going to go and do meditation this morning. And it was during the course of that meditation that I literally had this really impactful mystical experience where it's almost like, they say your life flashes before your eyes, but that's normally backwards. It flashed forwards. And I saw everything that was available. And I also came to understand some things. Like I said with you, I lost everything when I was 19. I lost everything again when I was 23. After losing everything the second time, I actually was driven right all the way into, planning and thinking about suicide. I was able to pull myself out of that. But I actually saw that all of that experience and all of the crap that surrounded it and all of the pain was the path that led me to the most beautiful moment that I had ever experienced, where I was seeing the future in front of me. And I understood that, yeah, there could have been another way I could have got there. There could have been other things that could have happened. But it was that path that brought me there. And so I was able to be grateful for all of it. And what became apparent as well is that the work that I had done on myself to get there needed to be shared with others. And I felt really, really cool to do so. And that's what I do now. We apply that work with financial abundance, with the work that I do, taking people to millionaire status and so on and so forth, all the things. But really, it's something more than that. It's really empowering people to be in charge of their own lives, to create life on their own terms. And that's what I get to do.
It hit me to the core what you just shared, because that was what I realized a couple of months ago as well. Because in this journey, even though how great you live or how much beautiful things you're having, it's always a time where you in that transitional time, it's so dark and it's a little bit wobbly and it's a little bit challenging. Not just a little bit, to some people, it's overwhelmingly challenging. Like you have sickness, you have baby, you have, fight, you have a lot of things. And what I really remind myself during those times, and I know a lot of people would feel like giving up during those times, feeling like, oh, it's not meant for me, it's too hard. Like this is beyond your human capacity. I realizing that I couldn't stop just yet, because whatever had built me until this point, I have worked to share that with other people, even though if I'm not going to be, making tons of money or becoming that wise success that I want, even if I can share this and help another 1 or 2 or 3 or next 10 or 11 people who get to change their life from this knowledge, avoiding the mistakes, being able to jump over, things that don't need to, experiences, this worth the work, right? This is, I believe it just hit me to the core, because it's so aligned with what you discover for your path to go to the next bigger impact. And I truly and solely believe this is also the shift between a model 6 to a 7, if you agree. Like it's that moment where it's not about you anymore. It's not about how much money you're building for your family and for yourself. It's really about the impact and the service that you are going to carry. And it's about you channeling through that missions or that message or that reminder or that tools for other people to get a better life. Like, would you agree?
One of the things I love about what you said is it's not about the money. And what I find time and time again is the people like to crap on people that are rich and successful, whatever. It's been, one of the fun things that people like to do. But the people who are miserable when they've created stuff are the people who try to create stuff because they're doing it for the money, versus I'm creating and I'm making these things happen so that I can live life on my own terms. And this is why I framed it in terms of helping people live life on their own terms. When I help someone become a millionaire, which we've done several times now, we're not doing it just to be a millionaire. The first thing that we do is we identify what's the life that you want to live, and does that life even require $1 million for you to do it? And if it doesn't, forget about it. Because the level of work that you need to do to create a new identity that's going to lead to an outcome is going to be very difficult for you to do that if you don't even really want the thing, if you don't need the thing, if it's not aligned with you. I've got one of my ladies, she's 1.8 million or something she created in less than a year, 1.7 million. She wants to be a billionaire. She's got amazing projects that she wants to bring in the world. She's out working on those right now. She wants to be a billionaire because she wants to show what's possible, number one. And she's got big projects to bring into the world, which will lead to being a billionaire status.
Yeah.
Now, some people, hey, I want to buy a new pair of shoes. I want a new house. Cool. You're allowed to desire these things. There's nobody telling you that you can't desire them, but really start to understand what's sitting behind that desire, because what's sitting behind the desire is what's going to fuel you actually going out and creating the thing, or not, as a lot of people don't end up actually creating what they go out to create.
Yeah, because they got stuck and they got, attachment to the status of having it.
Which is going to leave you empty at the end of the day anyway. You're not even going to.
Yeah, it's not about like the goal that give you that feeling. It's about being in that person or embodiment of that version to actually helping you attracting that status. So can you talk more about wealth? Because I clearly know there's difference between wealth and money, but I'm sure a lot of people are confused between the two, like money and wealth. Like, how do you differentiate, or like how do you get clarity on your wealth status or on your money status?
Well, first and foremost, money is just numbers on a screen now. Fiat currency, which is what the world's running on right now, has got nothing backing it. I don't think there are any countries in the world that have got anything of value behind their country as currency at all. It's just, we put some numbers on the screen, everybody agrees and we're going to accept this. Yep, okay, we're going to do the thing. Or, as has happened now with what's been going on Russia and Ukraine, some people say, okay, we're not allowed to use that money. Okay, we're not going to use that money, whatever the thing is, right? So that's money. Money is just a medium of exchange, numbers on a screen that we use to exchange value. I want to do coaching with you. I'm going to send numbers on the screen. You're going to get those numbers on the screen. You're going to deliver me the value of coaching. But those numbers on the screen are only of use to other people who accept those numbers on the screen, right? My family's from Zimbabwe. The Zimbabwean dollar is worth nothing now. In fact, I've got $100 trillion.
Trillion.
It's crazy. I'm going to show you because I've got some here. They're $100 million. Oh yeah, 100 trillion. $100 trillion. It's made of real gold. I've got several hundred trillion here. I don't know. I've got a stack of them. I'm a trillionaire. But this is no good anymore because nobody really accepts it. Now in Zimbabwe, they use the United States dollar. That's the number on the screen that people are accepting. So that's money. Okay. Wealth, I think, is one step in a stage that I call the triangle to abundance. Okay. We start with scarcity. This is when I don't have the physical, mental, and emotional means to live life on my own terms. Then stability. I can live life, but I need to exchange time and energy. I need a job or I need a business. Then we have freedom. I don't need to exchange time and energy. I've got investments, I've got real estate, I've got enough capital, whatever, so that I can live life on my own terms without the need to work. Yeah. Then we've got abundance. My needs plus extra, there's overflow. I've got space to be of contribution. I can give my vitality away, I can give my time, I can give my money away because I've got more. Then we move on to wealth, which is when I've got a perpetuation now of my assets growing to create an increase in my freedom and an increase in my abundance in and of itself. So that could be generational wealth through assets being owned, real estate, for example, land. Yeah. It could be IP. It could be shares, for example. Elon Musk's kids now, they've got generational wealth. Year on year, as those shares grow, that's wealth that's growing to create more choice and more freedom. So wealth is another level beyond abundance and freedom, as I define it. Money is just numbers on a screen that I can use to create a situation where I am wealthy, where I am free, where I am abundant.
So from my understanding, wealth is the ultimate factor that drives more or less money in your life.
Well, no, it can be if you get to the point where you've accumulated enough assets to be able to do that, because I can work harder and get more money, right? Yeah, I can work smarter to create more.
But to keep the money.
To keep the money, even the keeping of the money, if I set my systems up correctly, then my money is going to be kept. If I'm safeguarding it with the right trust structure, the right tax efficiency, the right legal structures, it will. But is it going to grow without me needing to grow it? Elon Musk's kids don't need to do anything for their shares in their trust to grow, because that's wealth. It's growing by itself. When I'm putting energy and time into it to grow it, then I can increase my abundance that way, but it's not really wealth. Wealth is when it's doing it by itself, as I describe it. Someone else might have another definition.
It's the carrying the momentum of growing.
Yes.
That is that's for you. That's really amazing to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me more about, like, how do you help people getting to that next level of wealth or abundance, or like next level of money? Because there's 3 levels, right? So how do you get into, what is that crucial factor of non-monetary or non-business that actually helping people to get there?
Definitely our teaching on money DNA. Money DNA has been the deciding factor I've seen time and time again, because what it does is it gives us an exact roadmap, a blueprint for how you as an individual are optimally going to move through those stages. I can give you a roadmap. I can say, well, if you go and set up infinite banking, go and invest in real estate and go and do this, you're going to be wealthy. But that might not work for you. If I can map your money DNA, we have 5 pillars that we use for money DNA mapping. If I can map your money DNA, I can tell you exactly what vehicle, exactly what you should be doing, exactly how to ensure you maintain an internal environment, exactly how you should know to keep making choices, and exactly to know how to keep taking the actions that are going to lead you forward. Then we can take that, a person that's honoring this, and then we can slot them into the right systems. Okay, this is the thing that we're going to do. These are the choices that you're going to make. This is the right wealth creation strategy. This is the right trust package for you. These are all of the things. But unless we're working with a person that's operating from a place of flow, too much energy is going to go into it. Too much time is going to go into it. That's why we can take people from zero, because all of our programs that we do, you don't put another penny in, it's from zero. Okay, in our micro to millions ecosystem. So we take people from 0 to 1 million or more in less than a year, because we're not wasting time needing to learn stuff. We're going exactly to what's going to work, exactly to what's going to move the needle, exactly what's going to bring in the abundance, and we tackle that.
So it's a combination of energy and also the actions that are focused.
100%, 100%. I mean, this is one of my catchphrases, stop meditating. That's why I say it, because so many people, they get so caught up in the spirituality, so caught up in the mindset, so caught up in the actions, but none of those things individually are going to lead you all the way to success. Success comes from your habits, your behaviors, your actions, but your habits, behaviors, and actions, your mindset. But your mindset is also limited to your emotional state. So we need to bring in all of these things to get a new outcome.
Agree. I totally agree how in this world, because I come from a space where people call me like energetic or like, mindset, but I also value the strategy side, the masculine actions, because without them, like you can envision, you can do all the meditation, you can expand the vision, you can even dream bigger, but then the action, the ability to take the action or going on the right pathway is not there, then there's always a mismatch. And that's why a lot of people feel stuck or frustrated with their speed, or just they feel that capacity is always kept in a certain, point. And I totally agree with you on this. And thank you for sharing that. So where is that Money DNA? Is that like in your book, or where people can learn more about that?
Money DNA, we do a regular workshop. At the time of the recording this, we've got one coming up in a little bit, but we do them every sort of 6 or 7 weeks. We do the workshop. That's the best way for people to learn about it. They can head over to our website, dreamwithdan.com, on the events page, and find out when the next workshop is. Really, really reasonable. It's like $47 or something to come to the workshop. And I teach it personally live. So I would say that's probably the best way for people to learn about their money DNA. We're working on some other resources as well at the moment, like some automated resources, some software. But at the moment, 100% head over to dreamwithdan.com/events. Look for the next Money DNA workshop and get yourself signed up, and you can learn all about Money DNA.
And Money DNA is something that you develop yourself?
Yes, it's trademarked. It's trademarked. It's a trademark concept.
I'm so curious and excited to join the next event. Like, I wanted to find out. Because from our next conversation, you'd understand, like, I am all about taking that one action that generating the whole result. It's like how I share an email with you, like just like one email or sending out making me this much money, or one course of action always leading to the bigger result. And a lot of people hustles or going into the trap of doing more for bigger money. It's never about that, right? It's not about doing more when you wanted to step in more. It's about doing the right thing or the focus thing to step in.
And this is where Money DNA supports so much, because if you could imagine, if you knew a way that your body's naturally designed to understand which choice is the best one to take. What if you could filter out all of the options that were available to you for what action to take and cut it right down, because you're focused, hyper-focused on what's exactly going to work for you? It just changes the game. Money DNA changes the game. It's one of the key factors that leads to the results that we see with our clients.
Awesome. Dan, before we wrap up the conversations, is there any other practical things that you can advise for people who wanted to scale from the 6-figure to a 7-figure mark?
First and foremost, I want to say, don't make 7 figures such a big deal.
I know, right?
So often people are like, oh my God, it's $1 million.
It's just like something like proving that you already.
It's $83,333 a month. If you can create $83,333 a month, about $20,000 a week, you could be a million. You could be a billionaire. Now think about it. That just means, am I going to focus on solving a big problem that I can solve a few times for 20,000 or more once a week? And if you found a problem that's you can solve for 20,000 at a time, you could probably do it more than once a week, and therefore make more than $1 million. Or maybe I'm going to find a solution, a problem that 1,000 people are ready to pay me $20 for, or 100 people are ready to pay me $200 for every week. If you focus on just really taking the emotional charge out of it by seeing it's just numbers on a screen, and the numbers on a screen that people would give me if I solve a problem for them, and then focus on solving that problem in a way that, as we say, is aligned with your money DNA, and you'll clean up.
That's so simple. That sounds so simple.
And it is. It's literally just identifying, is it, I've got this principle that we teach when we're business coaching people. It's called the 1,000 True Fans principle, which I learned a couple of years ago. It's like, in order to have a 6-figure business, you just need 1,000 people that will pay you $100 a year, or $100 people that will pay you $1,000 a year, times that by 10.
Yeah. Dan, that was exactly what I think last year when I built myself to Model 6. Like, I just need 100 people paying me $1,000 per year, or 10 people paying me 10,000. That's it.
That's it. And you just go where you're comfort, like go where. So I would say push your edge, not your buttons. And I'm not going to go too far down the rabbit hole because I know we're wrapping up, but find where you're comfortable and then push the edge a little bit. If you're comfortable going out and making a 10K offer, go and make a 15K offer. If you're comfortable making a 5K offer, go and make a 7K offer. If you're comfortable making 1,000, go and make a 2,000 or 3,000 offer. Find your comfort level and go just beyond it, and then focus on how many of those do I need to get out into the world? How much value do I need to deliver in order to get the money that I want to create to live life on my own terms? To live life on my own terms must be the bottom, the end goal though.
I have chills because I just got realization this morning how it's like that's whatever the money is, whatever, like 7-figure, millionaire, billionaire, it's really about giving you the freedom of living your best life right now. Because if that money is in the bank, you get to know that you spend time with the baby on the beach, you get to spend quality time with your partner, you get to travel, and knowing the money is dropping in and dropping in and dropping in. And that is that feeling, right? That is a feeling of having it happen in your life, like living the best life. So the last word on, if people are so attached to that status and couldn't get themselves to really feel the freedom of having it, like, how would you advise them, or how would you help them shift out of this attachment and into this, all right, I know it's coming and I'm welcoming that liberations?
Well, first and foremost, I would do it according to their money DNA, obviously, is what I would really do.
Right? They would have to get that first, yes.
So there's certain tests I could do and get at least a high level map. I do like a 30-minute money DNA breakout session that people can do, where we give them at least the top level to go and make some immediate change. But if someone comes and they're really, really stuck, then I would look at why they're stuck and what they're stuck on. Is it a fear that you're stuck on? Is it an unworthiness that you're stuck on? Is it a limiting belief that you're stuck with? And I go to that before I try to do anything else. Because if there's bad code in the foundation, then anything I do, even if we do get some transformation, they're going to go back to default anyway. So we go on what is that sticking point, and then unlock that and deal with that. And then we generally find that the rest of it takes care of itself.
Awesome. I really love how you approach this, because I truly believe the more we wanted to create new future is about undoing a lot of programming and stuckness already inside of us. I'm going to get that one. See you in the next bookshop. I'm so excited for that. And for everyone who are listening, how can they follow you and learn more about and be in your amazing world?
Best way, and thank you. Best way is dreamwithdan.com. The website is really comprehensive. Well, I was actually speaking with the team today, so we're going to be adding more resources to the website in the future as well. But we've got free resources. The podcast is on there, my books, my blog, everything's on the website, dreamwithdan.com.
Yeah, very simple. And I think your Instagram also Dream with Dan, is it?
No, my Instagram is danielmangena.official. I just had to change it recently because we're going for verification and they wouldn't verify me if I didn't use my real name. So, but yeah,
Daniel.
That's fine.
Awesome. So it's Dream with Dan, and also he has amazing podcast, Do It with Dan as well.
Yeah, which you're going to be featuring on just now. So.
Yes, and I would love to, if you're listening to this and you feel fire up, please tag it on story and share with the world what you've learned from this conversation. And I cannot wait to share more amazing conversation with amazing speakers from now on. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Dan, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right.